Okay, so what I want to do in this video is sort of edit. Actually, I'm sort of going to write and talk about what I'm doing as I go. So this is a story that I'm working on for an anthology, and I need to finish it. It's completely mapped out in my head. And so what I'm going to start doing is basically start at the beginning and sort of edit what I have so far. And as I'm doing that, I'm kind of getting some energy that then will help me flesh out the scenes when I get to the points where I'm just like, insert scene here. All right. So it was still 2 days for the storm had hit. Okay, so I've got a feature that I want to mention, which is this big floating thing in the sky that is actually the Amazon encampment. It's a big floating settlement. Touching the water. Actually, so I want to do this before it sinks. So for the sake of narrative grammar, what I'm going to stick in is another effect of the sun. So touching the water with purple and glimmering on the complex disk of the, actually, let's add a couple of these. Actually, I'm going to come up with a nifty word for this. So they're really encampments, but I'll switch that term to glimmering on the time before it sinks suddenly into the Cascade Mountains. Does it sink into the Cascades? Am I looking for it? Yeah, I'm not sure of that. So let's stick out a little bit. Let's check. Vito. Okay, Vito is scraping plates into one of the fermenting bins. That's actually kind of, so why I did that, because I had a lot of long sentences before that, right? I had a very long sentence before that. And so I think in the sense of rhythm, I want to sort of split it off. So Vito is scraping plates into one of the fermenting bins. And so one of the things that that does is that cements our point of view. We're Vito, and immediately let's have an observation from Vito's point of view. Not that there was much to scrape, mainly bread crusts and edible vegetable bits. Fragrant. Onion peels, garlic. Once he was done, he layered in more food from the food prep leftovers and sifted wheat bran over it before sealing in the big bokashi container. Okay, if we can. This one was nearly full, almost time to seal it up and let the compost ferment. The reason it's a bokashi composter is because that's one of the things I've been doing here, which is, should give me some good details. He took down one of the 2 empty containers, ready to go. Empty. Ready to go. I want to have that size if they're ready. Bulky and heavy. Needed arms 8. Okay, so why am I doing this? Well, I wanted a, that's a better verb, and I took out a little passive language. He worked methodically, glancing out from time to time. Okay. So that's a time thing. So let's put it early in the sentence, so it kind of, because it affects the details. He stood in the restaurant's back area, an open walled space, roofed with old corrugated plastic. We don't need that comma. Yuck. And metal, and filled with bokashi coin to one corner. The squat wooden filling in one corner. The squat wooden burrow, their sides gone gray with age, filling most of the space. Kenny came to the back door, wiping their face off with a forearm. Their long black hair starting to fall loose. They pulled it tight and refastened the thick and pulled away from the mottled scars in the right cheek, the unmarked flesh on the left. We don't need that. It's not necessary. Okay. They said that commune of lady clones up on the east side says they could bring us a new strain of chicken grow, maybe. Says it lives off anything nitrogen rich. Tastes like real chicken. Vito snorted and kept sifting branded, smelling its sweetness as the flakes from the bottom. One of the things I did just then, right, is I had that word smelling, and I went back up here to make sure that this smell word here was not the same one. So fragrant is fine. The fragrant is one way to bring in smell without saying smelling. Smelling its sweetness as the flakes. Let's make that, let's give it a softer, sifted over the bottom. He said, no one's had real chicken in 100 years. Split it up. Who knows what it tasted like? He licked Steve Brown and felt the sting. Damn it. What, Kenny said. Wind shifted, we got nanite drift coming in. Go tell him to put on the filters. His lip was already swung. Well, that's just for the sake of readability. Make that a new paragraph. Where the no see had sampled him. He glanced over the warm bins to make sure all was sealed tight. Make sure they were sealed tight. And went in through the temp area and the weight pot had pulled. Do I want this weight bot? Because I've got another machine. Actually, we'll just make it the other machine. All right. While he was working. It was late afternoon. So we're not going to have checked. We had clamps earlier, so we checked over the, because that takes more time, because they need time to pull this airlock into place. Alrighty. Okay. I'm not sure it is late afternoon. So can I highlight that? The way I will do that is I usually change the font color. I don't usually make these things red because red has bad connotations. It's one of the things I learned from teaching is don't mark things in red because people kind of have an automatic instinct to see a thing marked up in red and think, oh, bad grade, horrible. So when I was a teacher, I marked stuff in blue or whatever, purple, maybe green, soothing colors. Anyway, and I'm just noticing that here, all the arrows are shown in red and wondering if that's a preference and if I could change that color because I'd rather do that. Anyway, but one way to fix that so it's not so distracting is to say learn spelling because we've got nanite. And let's also make it learn bokashi. Okay, so that gets rid of those. Okay, late afternoon, so the option because you wondered how bad the drift would be. Yeah, we don't really need this. Let's do Sarge. All right, you wondered how bad the drift would be. Actually, didn't we have the sunset earlier? Yeah. Okay, so that's one thing that I often do is final pass where I'll just go through and check time. And at some point, I will set up a list of kind of like, here's some good final passes to do. And of course, one of these is just the read aloud pass, but checking for repeated words, that sort of thing. Anyway, he wondered how bad the drift would be. Let's see, I've indulged in a long sentence and I don't need it. Ponds spill was so bad a human couldn't go outside it. That was rare, and the alarm would have gone off a while back if it looked likely. Now, it would probably die down within the hour. Turned out just to be a stray breezes worried. On over from the east side. He wondered how Kenny's lady clone survived so deep in memory territory. Either they were lucky or had some resources people didn't know about. He couldn't be the first person that had occurred to. That was clarified. Had occurred to, but he'd never seen. Let me go back and just tell you this. So usually I don't stick in words. And you could say, just leave that had occurred to. I think would still be grammatical, but not having it makes it easier for a reader to glitch. And one of the things that you don't want a reader to do is have to decipher a sentence's grammar in order to understand what it means, because that reminds them that they're reading. And the cardinal sin of a writer is reminding the reader that they're reading and disturbing the blissful immersion. All right. But he'd never seen anyone trying to cozy up to them when they came to the swab. They were off-putting and most antagonistic in their attitudes towards outsiders. Kenny brought him a swab of homebrew syrup. Is brewed the right word? I don't think so. So let's go ahead and blew that. It tasted like green ass, but Kenny said if he swallowed some, it wouldn't matter. He was about to ask where it comes from. Kenny was a master trader in their own way. But then the clinker on the door went clink, and there was a customer, a woman, followed by 4 shapes. It's a thin shape. Okay, this we don't need. Can we see an outlet from the desolate outlight sunlight? Sun should turn on the same, so don't even for another 2 hours or so. When you really had to form water and always get studying music. John Ball. Beatles, dun dun dun. All right, so here we've got. Okay, so this is an example of something that's. Excuse me. So what this is I added a scene, like I'd written that first scene, and then I wrote a scene in my notebook, and I didn't remember perfectly where I was. And so I've got this moment, which is basically the same, but instead of doing what he's doing, he's chopping up onion skins. And that can go away except for this. Okay, so this has to go somewhere. And I like it, so I want to put it somewhere. So I like this. I'm not sure about it, but it could go. Okay, so what if we put it here? All right, so what I'm going to do is link this in, and I'm just going to say from here he could see, from here he could see, and it needs to be some reminder of travel, the remnants of, and I'm going to just stick, just be like, eroded now and overgrown with morning glory. Blackbird. No use to anyone now. People didn't have what they used to. I'm still, I'm not sure. There's a little, here it is. Okay, so here's what's bothering me. Is could you imagine that? And I'm pretty sure that is an echo of Tiptree's, their faces on my sisters, their faces full of light, or some full with light. I'm just not sure about this section, so I'm going to tag it in blue. All right. Okay, so candy. Now let's get... oh, they just stick Cooksey right there. Okay, there needs to be a description. Dun, dun, dun. I think we said Cooksey. I spelled it 2 different ways, so I'll make it. Okay. All right, now. You know, I learned the look of the East Side. I don't know if he does the age. We'll just say small and slim. What color shades? Okay. Now, so I thought that I had put the rest from my notebook in here because I know I've got a bunch more scenes, including an outline, but I don't. So what I'm going to do next is actually go type all of that in. So I'm going to end this session. So I hope that was useful. Okay, so this is an example of kind of editing the first couple scenes. You saw how I took a scrap from earlier and fitted it in. Oops, and now it's a typo, and here's learn that spelling. Learn that spelling. God bless that spelling. It sounds like, I think it's... Okay, that looks pretty good. I'm now ready to go enter that stuff in. So, stop share. And that's this. And stop recording. Okay, so I hope that was useful. Maybe, maybe not. Let me know.